Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We, of course, have been covering this season of Wandavision. The only season of Wandavision? I don't know. I'm not sure if it's a limited series.
We don't know yet.
We don't know. But we are, of course, discussing episode 6, which is called the all-new Halloween Spooktacular. Which, if you're a 90s kid, you recognized the Malcolm in the Middle similarities to the beginning of the episode. It was fantastic.
The whole intro and the episode itself, very Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh yeah, it was great. I mean, and I had forgotten that aspect of Malcolm in the Middle, where they sort of break the fourth wall and talk to the camera. I didn't really watch that show that much. My wife was much more familiar with it, so she immediately picked up on that it was a Malcolm in the Middle spoof.
Wait, is she watching it with you, this show?
Oh yeah, she's watching. Yeah, she's very into it, and has not seen one MCU movie. The whole family's watching it. Yeah, and so they're all very interested in watching all the MCU movies now, which I'm guessing is what Disney wants. That's what Disney wants, right? I mean, you watch these shows and you're intrigued. For some reason, I'm not seeing the comments this time. That's interesting. I know we've got 4 people watching, but I'm not seeing the comments, so that's interesting. Hello to everyone out there that's watching. Oh yeah, there's Rhett. Okay. Yeah, you did. Sorry, Rhett. You put pants on for nothing. My bad.
I think they later in the episode, I think they tried to give you a sense of the timeline, because we talked about last week. It kind of felt like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
This week felt like late 90s, early 2000s, and I will give my evidence for saying they showed the movie theater, and on the marquee it says The Parent Trap, which came out in 98.
Yep.
And Incredibles, which came out in 04. So I think they're kind of trying to say late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean, right. So they're giving people an idea there, which I think they're also alluding to, obviously, some of the stuff happening in the episode by those 2 titles.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Like Trap and...
Yeah, Parent Trap, Incredibles is the family, which we'll get into all of that, of course. But we, start the episode as we do often with the title screen and their the 2 kids and the uncle, which Evan Peters. I've got a huge shout out to Evan Peters. He is really bringing
He's doing great.
He's I've only seen him in a couple things. I don't watch that horror show that he has been in a lot.
Yeah, the anthology show.
Yeah, the
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story. I have not watched any of those. Although I watched a couple of the episodes where it was like a spoof on A Nightmare on Elm Street, or maybe it was Friday the 13th where they're at the camp or whatever. That was interesting. But I haven't seen any of the ones with Evan Peters, and he apparently is really good in that show. And so
he plays a lot of different roles too, apparently.
I've only really experienced him in the Fox X-Men movies, and it's just he's just really good. He's just a good actor. I just have loved him in just these couple minutes that we've seen him in this series.
He's doing really good with this genre and this character.
The uncle, the uncle. Crazy uncle.
The crazy uncle who comes into Malcolm in the Middle and disrupts the family.
And he pretty much explains his whole role in the episode too.
Oh, yeah, very much. I mean, he's there to basically cause some mischief and be the crazy uncle for the nephews, and it's interesting. It's interesting to see how they're interacting, and of course, the kids are finding their powers in this episode.
Yeah,
which I did not expect them to go there so quickly with these kids.
I didn't either. But I mean, they rapidly age, so I guess
Well, yeah, they're rapidly aging. So I mean, if they're, and of course they haven't said the term mutant yet in the MCU, but I guess these kids are kind of mutants in a way.
Maybe.
If they're real.
You think what now?
Man, there's so much to unpack here.
Oh, you don't think they're real?
Oh, well, I'm saying if they're real. I don't have a one way or the other.
Yeah, I think they're. I'd like to think that they're real because I like.
I think they're going to end up being real, just like they are in the comics.
Yeah,
but well, depending on which store you go by.
Well, and it's interesting that they're
this thing about
exhibiting.
Hellspawn.
Yeah, exactly. And to skip ahead a bit, I mean, they even use that term, right? I mean,
yeah, he calls them hellspawns. Yeah,
Pietro even uses hellspawn, which Rhett sent a very funny meme in our chat where the going theory is that Mephisto is involved, and everybody's like claiming everyone's Mephisto, and I more than ever think he's involved now. I mean, because they just keep dropping.
I think they're red herring you so hard, but I could be wrong.
Well, should we break through the episode first?
Yeah.
I'm trying to prevent from jumping straight to the theories, but
we can have theories later. But we can kind of go through the episode.
Am I freezing? I feel like I am freezing over here.
You were, but you seem better now.
Wait, I got this hat for Jacob because it's really cold here in Alabama. I'll go ahead and put this on.
It's not that cold.
Whoa, Alabama's like a
rolling blackouts for Earl.
You can come down here. It's like 60 or 50.
Yeah, I literally just got back from Orlando today, and it was gorgeous down there pretty much the whole time. It rained on us one day.
You missed snows yesterday. We had snow in Alabama.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Things shut down. People wept.
People wept. Hey, it's not as bad as Texas. Texas is being hit way harder.
Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob likes.
Got my tooth, baby.
He obviously likes that. But to break down the episode, I mean, we automatically get some weird moments. I know we are surprised to be recording. I'm completely exhausted right now. But we do get some instantly weird moments between Wanda and Vision. Vision's coming down the stairs, and he said, "Well, the only outfit that I had in my closet was this."
Yes. No other clothes in my closet.
No other clothes in his closet. And then he sort of moves on right away from that. But
yes, which I think is him
really trying to call you, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's him trying to divert away from what he just said. I think he's very aware of what he just did there.
Oh yeah. I think in this particular episode, more than any that we've seen thus far, he's very concerned with what's going on, basically.
Yeah.
And so anything that he's doing in this episode is to try and, I guess, perform whatever goals he thinks he needs to perform.
And saving the people of Westview is ultimately what he finds out. Yeah,
saving the people of Westview, but also to kind of distract Wanda a little bit, get Wanda off his case a little bit. Because, I mean, he's
trying to explore the town a little bit.
Well, yeah, and she's not thrilled. She's like, "This is not what you're supposed to be doing."
Yes, it's another instance of Vision going off script.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're all at the point now, or Vision's at the point now where he's not going to necessarily do anything that Wanda thinks he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Vision seems to have more of an agency than the rest of the town.
Mm-hmm.
But as we see later, he still can't necessarily escape the town.
No, definitely not, which is sad.
Which I love seeing Vision when he goes full Vision, flying up, looking around the city, and then to see him trying to break out.
So we get the point. I'm going to back up a little bit here because I think I'm getting some.
Michael, you've seen this episode, right? Have you seen the episode?
I've seen it twice. Saw it once on an iPad and then saw it tonight when we walked home.
Yeah, I saw it here.
You walked home. Oh, no wonder.
Yeah. So the
Vision lies about being in the neighborhood watch next. That's what he does.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, totally. He's basically just trying to distract Wanda from what he wants to do. I mean, it's crazy. And yeah, Aussie Nate. I mean, that's right. I mean, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but that's why.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why.
Yeah.
I mean, they said decaying vibranium was what he was tracking, was what Hayward was tracking, and we'll get to that more of that later. But I think, yeah, that's Vision's dead body, at least some capacity.
Yeah. So
he's only alive in the hex.
Since we're talking about that vibranium thing, I mean, one of the going theories now is that Director Hayward is basically wanting to bring Ultron back, and
I don't know about that.
Well, I read he wanted to do it to make Sentinels, but I don't know if
the
that's
X-Men,
true.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh no, I like that better. So Sentinels does vibranium are Sentinels involved in vibranium? I don't really X-Men.
I don't know. I don't X-Men either. And the only time we've seen them in movies is Days of Future Past, right?
Yeah.
In the future.
I mean, it seems like vibranium's a big deal in the MCU anyways. Rhett makes a good point here that they were just tracking the radiation from the vibranium decay.
Yeah.
But it does seem like Hayward has some major interest in Vision more than anything.
Yes.
I mean, obviously Vision's body was already at Sword. So
I think he wants that tech back.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm wondering if Hayward's interested in Ultron or something along those lines.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if you noticed it, but I'm pretty sure Darcy figured out whatever he's trying to do and sent an email to Jimmy in some capacity right before she got found out and handcuffed to the thing.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because she said, Hayward, you sneaky whatever, she said. And then typed in Jimmy's...
Didn't she say sneaky devil?
I don't know, but
everything has to be
Jimmy Woo is
about
Mephisto.
making people think it's Mephisto.
Jimmy Woo is Mephisto. We figured it out.
Hayward is. It's either Hayward.
Maybe the guy over the ridge is Mephisto.
Yeah, it's either Hayward or it's Quicksilver or it's. I mean, there's all kinds of people. I don't know. It's weird. So Vision goes off on his little journey.
And we get Uncle P. Being the father figure,
causing mischief. Hey, I'll go along. I'll be the father figure.
I got an XY chromosome.
Yeah,
I got an XY chromosome. Yeah,
he's so perfect for the role too. It's so great. It's really great. So I found it interesting to really go off script here and go to the very beginning of the episode when they're doing the recap. Is that they showed Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Yes.
I found that
first note.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. I guess they're doing that for people like my wife who hasn't seen any of the MCU movies, trying to explain.
They're doing that so that when you see Evan Peters with his bullet holes, there's some connection, was what I thought. But I think there might be something else, another reason to do it.
I think. See, here's what I think. I think both the vision that she has and the Quicksilver vision that she has. I think that's just another trauma thing. I don't think that that's necessarily supposed to reflect that those are dead bodies in the hex, that kind of thing, which I know some people have theorized. I think it's just trauma.
Well, I definitely don't. First of all, I do not think that Evan Peters is actually Pietro.
Yeah, no.
But let me just go ahead and bury my lead now.
Yeah.
Because there's too much of him doing this questioning thing.
Yeah.
With her,
like trying to get her to... trying to figure out like how she did all this.
So how did you do all this? Yeah.
She's also questioning him.
Well, that's true.
A lot of that. She's testing him and he calls her out for it.
Right.
You're testing me. And I like how he said, well, I got shot in the street and then next thing I know, I heard you calling me. And
the details are fuzzy.
Yeah.
About that.
So do you think that he is an agent? Assuming that Mephisto is the big bad here, do you think he's an agent of Mephisto, or do you think he's actually Mephisto?
You're not even giving me the third option.
There's a couple other options, Michael.
What?
I think he's just Quicksilver under the influence of the town.
Oh, okay. So you just think he's under the influence of the town? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What do you think? What's your theory, Dr. Earl?
Well, so let's talk. Well, I don't know how far we want to progress in this thing.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot that we could talk about before we get to that, but
there's a moment. So the commercial,
right,
where he says, "I like to feed on Yo Magic," and he goes, "Here's Yo Magic," and then the kid can't open it, and he dies.
He's decaying.
It's decaying, and I didn't know. I've heard different theories about that, but that almost is like a Grim Reaper move, right? Because he's killing the kid. I don't know. That's one theory I have. I also think Mephisto, Uncle G. Oh, Jacob's following with Uncle G. He thinks it's still.
Well, look, we know this show ties into the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, the multiverse, I feel like, has to come up.
Yeah.
It may not be him, but I'm hedging my bets with that right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were surprised at the fact that the MCU would even bring a character like Mephisto in, just because it's a little bit different than
dark.
Well, no, just it's more supernatural, and the MCU hasn't really gone there. I mean, I know that they did a lot of stuff in Doctor Strange, but that was more like Dormammu and stuff like that. I mean, that's
this is the devil we're talking about.
Yeah, it's the literal devil. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not necessarily supernatural, and so this would be really the first time that they've gone there. No, I mean, this very well could be too. What Rhett's saying here, it's complete stunt casting to make everybody crazy.
Like he's just a town person that she pulled in to recast the part. Is that what Rhett's saying?
Could be. I mean, very well could be. It just could be.
I agree with Rhett on that. I do not think
it could be just some random dude.
I don't think it's a random dude though. I think it's somebody manipulating Wanda.
I'm sorry, Earl. I should not have put that up. You're right. You're right about that. That was wrong of me.
I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna have to have a conversation with Rhett.
Anyway, let's get back to the episode. I've jumped way ahead. So the kids. So he helps the kids rob.
Well, yeah, we see him go into his classic Quicksilver costume.
Yeah.
Everyone's in their classic costume.
Everyone's in the classic costumes,
and he's doing the actual hair, the comic book hair.
Yes. It was all.
He's dressed as a Sokovian fortune teller.
Yes,
whatever that little face is.
And he's a Mexican wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is
chili con carne, baby. Wanda, look at me, Wanda. That's my vision.
That's a much better Paul Bettany than I'd do.
Earl can do the voices good. So the kid is one of them is supposed to be what? Speed? Is that
Wiccan and Speed? Yes.
What's the other one?
Speed.
Wiccan and Speed.
Wiccan.
And so he has powers similar to Vision. Like, how does he?
No.
I would say they're more similar to Wanda, but I don't. But I don't think they're. Yeah, I don't think they're exactly like Wanda's.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Wiccan is like he's got the witchy powers, right?
Yeah.
And then Speed is obviously Quicksilver. So
yeah, so pretty much. That's why they put him in a Quicksilver costume. I don't even think that's his comic costume.
And Wiccan is actually dressed like kind of like how he actually looks later.
Yes.
In the comic, the headband or whatever.
Yeah,
he's got the headband and the cape, and
that's interesting. Good grief!
Some really
that'd be Wiccan that can run fast. But Rhett threw me off. I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
We cut to
look at the chat.
We cut to Hayward fighting with Monica, Darcy, and Wu at this point.
Yeah, and so she fires Monica. Doesn't
Yeah.
fire the other two, right? I mean, he can't fire Wu, obviously.
He throws them. He tells them all to go away. He marches them off with guards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have the famous Jimmy Woo fight scene.
Yes.
Jimmy did start that too.
Yeah. Jimmy.
And then Darcy just kind of stood there while the other two did the work.
He was like, "Could y'all have told me the plan?"
Yeah.
I don't think she could have done much. In all honesty,
probably not.
I don't think she has the skills to really add to that fight at all. But it was cool to see Jimmy and Monica, taking some guys down. That was awesome.
Yeah. And they stole their ponchos or whatever they were.
So once they get back into the camp, though, one thing that we kind of find out is that Monica has been really negatively affected by the hex.
Mutation of her genetic code, right?
Yeah, mutation of her genetic code. So
her cells have been completely rewritten on a molecular level twice.
Yeah, that never really is probably a good thing.
And she's going to go in a third time. I mean, based on the trailer, she's got that car that she's trying to ram in there.
Yep.
So whoever's bringing that car, whatever aerospace engineer.
And Darcy's going to try to say that it's dangerous, and then we're going to find out through the show that actually she gets powers from it, so it's awesome. But probably
Darcy's
will be dangerous to some people.
Yeah. She's going to become Photon or something.
Monica, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that.
I know Monica is.
That's what they're alluding to.
Quantum or Quasar or whatever her name is.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they're obviously alluding to, because she's going to be a part of the New Avengers or whatever. I mean, they're going to have to get to a point where the New Avengers are a thing. So that way down the line, I don't think that's going to happen until later. But
I think we're going to have the boys grown up next episode, like teenagers. So I think we're going to get to the New Avengers quicker than you think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I'm just, from the standpoint of when they're actually going to use them in any way.
No, you're right.
It might be later on down the road.
Do you think we get another sort of flashback episode?
Well, I think we're going to get...
Because, well, yeah, well.
Speak.
I just feel like there's going to be some information. I mean, whoever the bad guy is, and we're gonna have to see Wanda doing some of the stuff to make the town. I would think we may see a flashback of that in some way.
Well, I mean, we only have a few episodes left and a few decades left. So, I mean, if the next decade that we get is the 2000s, and then
it's gonna be the 2010s, I think.
Yeah, 2010s, and I mean, then we're kind of done with that. And so, yeah, there very well could be some background and some flashback stuff.
May not be a whole episode, but might be a sequence or something.
Sure. Yeah. No, totally. I mean, I think that's needed at some point to explain to how Monica, or not, I'm sorry, not Monica, but how Wanda got to the point where she doesn't know how all of this happened.
Yeah, and we might see the person who's manipulating her at that point,
Right. I mean, because she basically said she doesn't remember anything except for extreme sorrow. I can't remember the exact words. I never write that stuff down, but I mean, she was basically, it was not a happy place that she was in right before all of this happened.
Right.
It is kind of what I
she
gathered.
blipped out too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was part of the blip. And so when she came back, it's like Vision's gone,
Yeah.
So there's still a lot of trauma to process.
Yeah, exactly.
She didn't have that 5 years like,
In the Hex, we get a very meta reference. I'm pretty sure it's on purpose with Pietro saying kick-ass.
Yes. Yeah, I mean...
Which is pointing towards the fact that Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Evan Peters were both in Kick-Ass.
In Kick-Ass, yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, that was totally on the nose. I mean, it's a cool Easter egg. I'm glad they did it, but I mean, there was a lot of that in this episode. I mean, even when he's talking about his nephews and calls them Hellspawn, again, it could just be totally just throwing the audience off.
Just a red herring.
But that's basically how they were created in the comics. Mephisto created them in some weird way from
her vision, her thoughts, right?
Her thoughts, but he's being, so Mephisto creating them means they're hellspawn, basically. I mean, that's kind of what that was all about. So yeah, I would love it if it wasn't Mephisto.
So Monica is Mephisto. She helped deliver the babies. Now we know.
Now we know. Yeah, Monica. Exactly. That's
that
the
woman
meme.
with the tear in her eye.
Yes,
that's Mephisto.
She's Mephisto, the one with the tear.
She's crying because it's taking so long for the answers to come from.
Now, this is a good question that Brian has. I mean, is she losing control of this, or is she unable to control the outskirts of the city?
I have some interesting points about that. Sorry.
Okay.
But it's kind of like the end of the episode points. Like she is having trouble controlling this entire 3,000 city population.
Yeah.
And she has just expanded the boundaries on that.
Right.
I expect we're going to see more glitches in, I guess, glitches in the Matrix, what you would say, going forward, because she will be losing control of this entire, town.
Well, she's
gonna have way more people to control.
And I wonder if that's already happening from a timeline standpoint, because the car dealership was 1950s cars or something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't.
And you've seen in the trailers, she's like moving all kinds of stuff in her house, and it's going in between all the different decades.
So yeah, I
haven't seen that yet.
I sort of caught that. When you expect, hey, we're in the 90s, all the cars are going to look like they're from the 90s. Well, no, they were 1950s cars. So there's weird timeline stuff going on. So yeah, I think she's having a really hard time controlling all of this. And I think the frozen people on the far outskirts of the city kind of allude to that. And
don't anything, Rhett.
No, I'm ignoring Rhett.
Although Rhett did make a good point, and I have heard this theory that all the people who have now been expanded into this thing are going to become mutants. Have y'all heard that theory?
Are going to become mutants?
So here's what I like about the potential of that theory. It's that obviously you can't have guys like Professor X and Magneto be a part of that.
Right.
But you can explain that there was a small group of them originally, and they were in hiding.
Yeah.
And that this event has expanded the amount of mutants that are in the U.S. now, that kind of thing. I like that
not
theory.
The naturally made mutants, but the
or mutates or whatever they call them, that kind of thing.
Wandavision, Wanda's mutants made by Wanda. So,
Roth. Yes, I'm aware. I'm missing the tennis. But so that's interesting. I mean, if obviously we have that moment where Darcy explains to Monica what's happening from a cellular level every time she's going through the hex. So those people, I like that. I mean, maybe that we'll get that some more mutants in the MCU that way, but that's an interesting theory.
Now,
froze again.
We see. Is it not frozen anymore?
What?
Yeah, I'm good now.
Okay. We see Vision investigating. Yeah, you're fine. Investigating, and he comes across obviously all these frozen people as we talked about.
Right.
But he also comes across Agnes at Ellis Avenue, which was referenced
let's
by
talk about that.
Wanda, who said to the kids, "Don't go there."
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's where the boundary is.
Yep.
But we also see that she is in a witch's costume, and we'll talk more. But she also has a witch's cackle at the end of the thing.
Oh no! I mean, we can talk about that now, because yet again, that could be another red herring. That I mean, I do think that she's Agatha Harkness. But
see, here's the thing: they keep playing up her innocence, though. Like she's trying to escape. She's she can be snapped out of this. I'm
There's
in a show like
with
this
her that's not right.
In a show like this, everyone is suspicious, but I'm trying to hedge my bets on certain people. So I'm going for her.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff that she was saying super led me to believe that she had no control over anything that was going on. I mean, and
right, when he touched her, she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're with the Avengers. Vision, are you here to save us?"
Yeah.
but then like when she started doing this thing, you're dead, dead. Dad, she just kept saying it.
Yes.
And I was like, something's, and then she did that witch's cackle, and I thought, I think this is a ploy. I think this is all.
She at least has some involvement in this.
Yeah. And I don't know if she was trying to get him to the barrier so that he would go through and be destroyed.
That's an interesting point.
Because if she's part of this group, see, I think she's working with somebody to try to protect these kids.
Ralph, her husband, who is Mephisto.
Who is Ralph? Ralph says, I'm whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. By the way, I think I'm Max Headroom, according to Rep. Because I keep reading.
No, it's fine.
My name
didn't even. The wave. Coke. That's a little, you don't know who that is, Uncle G, but.
Hey, sure he does.
I've seen him before.
Yeah, everybody knows who Max Headroom is. Yeah, I mean, well, I think that. So you think that she was out there specifically to try and get Vision to come out to the border?
I think that's a good theory.
That's a good theory. Yeah.
Well, I just think she. I think she's.
I'm agreeing with Earl.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because he definitely goes straight to it. I mean, his whole.
And she, I mean, the headlights are pointing straight towards it. Once he's there, he realizes that's where the barrier is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes straight towards it. I mean,
turns around.
I definitely could believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That's just a theory. That's a working theory.
Yeah. I mean, and so he starts to break up, like pull, like it's like the hex is pulling him back in.
Well, he gets
by piece.
He gets out of the hex, which I actually didn't expect.
Yeah.
And that was pretty awesome.
I was like, oh, so he can actually exist outside of the hex, like the clothing. You know, we see Monica's clothing is still unchanged. But then he starts getting ripped apart.
Yeah, he starts.
That's part of his powers is to be able to go change his density.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was using his sort of synthroid whatever powers.
Yeah,
but you're right. Then it starts. It's like we're not going to let you do this.
Yeah,
and
then Hayward says he really wants to get out of this thing or something.
Yeah.
And so why the hesitation from Sword to even attempt to help is what I found interesting. It makes me think Hayward's bad.
Operation Cataract.
Operation what?
Yeah, you lost me.
On the thing, one of the things there says something about Operation Cataract with Vision.
Oh, did it on the computer that Darcy
on the
had?
computer when they went into his files?
Oh, that may be what Darcy sent Jimmy Woo.
Yeah, there was something that some of the talking heads that I've been observing after watching the show episode were mentioning something about cataract or something.
Did they use a red circle in their video?
Well, yeah.
When you were watching your video, Earl, did they use a red circle? Did they circle that part of the and say this is Operation Cataract? We found it.
Look here. Yeah.
We don't have the technology.
They zoomed in on some have you seen they've done some episodes where they zoom in on this one character that when they steal all the candy, there's this one character or
crow looking character. Like he's got a nose, like a beak
nose. Yeah, he looks like, and he's just standing there looking at Wanda.
I know it looks like a character. I couldn't tell if it was a menacing character or just a decoration.
I think it's a decoration, but personally,
was it?
It's funny how people have grabbed little.
Well, and Marvel loves that. They want you to do that.
Oh yeah,
yeah, they do. So wait, what are you saying? You saw Garendon in the background or something? You said he had a nose, like a.
It was weird. It was like a
It looked like a what's the
witch doctor?
Oh, okay.
Sort of.
Well, I thought it looked like one of those masks from Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, okay.
I know what you're talking about. I mean, I don't know anything about that movie, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, it looked kind of like a devil. To me, it looked like sort of a.
Oh, was it Mephisto?
Like character. But again, it may have just been like this thing stuck in somebody's yard.
You're basically talking about a plague mask, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I thought it looked like.
Yeah. Okay. So that was Mephisto then, hanging out in the background as the plague mask.
Maybe. Could be anything. That's the thing. We are 6
The
episodes
mirror.
in. We are 6 episodes in, and we're not much further to knowing the truth than we were in the first episode. We have more questions.
But they're certainly good at.
But I'm loving this show.
Oh yeah,
throwing you hints that are making you think that it's Mephisto. Like every episode, there is something that they do, either a word or something visual that makes you think Mephisto is involved with all of this.
I have no doubt in my mind they are hinting towards it.
Yeah.
I just don't know whether or not it's legitimate or a red herring. And in a show like this, some things that are obvious, they're too obvious. Yeah, they don't pan out.
Well, I mean, let's answer this real quick because that was debunked, unfortunately.
Yeah, I can answer where it came from.
Well, it came from some random interview that Feige did.
Well, yeah. So he originally said that the show was 6 hours long.
Yeah.
So what people did was divided the show, and then said the next 3 episodes must be an hour each. Gotcha. Another guy today said that the next episode is 38 minutes.
Right.
We'll see if he's right on Friday. And he said what it was going to be based on, the next show that it was going to kind of mostly.
Yeah. So the 2010s, it'll be like a popular 2010s sitcom, which is very much more of the breaking of the fourth wall, where the characters talk to the camera a lot.
Yeah.
So who do we think's going to show up for Monica, her aerospace engineer friend?
Yeah, I know. Everyone wants it to be Reed Richards.
No,
and I think it's love
Blue
that.
Marvel. It's Blue Marvel.
But Blue Marvel has been the most realistic answer I've seen.
Oh, I don't even know who is it?
That's the point, Earl. They're hyping up a character that everyone will go, I have no idea who that is.
Blue Marvel.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason now that I'm thinking that it's Blue Marvel is because in the comics, Monica dated that guy.
Yes,
that's
they have
the
a relationship.
only reason. And I think Reed Richards is too. I think Reed Richards is too big right now. I think
Mike Zero is my number one source. So.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't think. I just don't think it's going to be Reed Richards yet. That's just too big of a bomb. And I know that they said that it's going to be a huge deal who this character is. And Blue Marvel is a pretty important character in the comics.
Also fairly new.
But he's very new. But he's fairly important though in the comics. So to some people, if it is Blue Marvel, that would be a huge deal.
It would be, but it wouldn't be to the masses.
Right.
And that's the thing is they're very much building up this character, and again, it just feels like I hope it is.
It'll be a letdown if it's Blue Marvel.
Yeah. Though I think what I've seen of the character is kind of cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm kind of like, it really feels like you're hinting towards something bigger.
I got to look up Blue Marvel then.
Yeah, I
and a lot of people are fan casting Blue Marvel now, but
I mean, Idris Elba as Blue Marvel would be freaking awesome.
No, come on, someone younger. I've seen a lot of John David Washington. I'd like to,
Well, that's the whole thing with Blue Marvel, though. He's really old in real life, but he ages slowly.
Yeah,
and so Idris Elba could pull that off.
Yes,
I would think that would be an awesome. That would be some. Although he's already
it'll be Blue Marvel. It'll be Blue Marvel.
Obviously Idris Elba's already in the MCU, but I mean, that doesn't matter. They can use him again. Who cares? But who were people fan casting?
John David Washington. Mostly is what I saw.
No.
No, I
keep hearing John David Washington's going to be the John Stewart Green Lantern.
I've seen that as well. A lot of people want him in ever since Black Klansman and Tenet. A lot of people want him in other stuff. And
oh, sure,
I'd like to see it.
He'll eventually be in either the DCEU or MCU. He'll be in. I believe that everybody eventually is. I mean, there's no
it's
actor
inevitable.
left.
You will be assimilated.
Yeah, the rest of Hollywood pretty much is at this point. So.
This is correct what Rhett said, that Michael B. Jordan will be back in the multiverse as the Human Torch.
No.
I think there's a good chance that if they sign Chris Evans to that deal they want to sign him to, that he may show up in the multiverse of Madness.
That'd be awesome.
Because they've been contacting a lot of people to be in that movie.
Yeah.
But we'll see how many actually sign on.
Yeah, exactly.
Malcolm and Marie. No,
we just got way off track. Yeah, I've seen it. It's pretty good actually. It's not bad. I think it's a acting powerhouse.
This is a WandaVision.
This is WandaVision.
This isn't John David Washington.
We'll talk about that on Reflections. There, Rob. You hear us talk about that in Reflections.
All will be revealed. The many mirrors that go back miles into my room.
So we get a conversation between Pietro and Wanda, and he straight up asks her where she's been hiding the kids.
Yeah,
which is funny because he hasn't been in Westview very long.
Yeah.
So this
and he already knows about that.
Yeah. She responds later saying, he asked her how he made this place, how she made this place.
Yep.
She responds saying, I don't know how I did it. I only remember feeling completely alone, empty, just endless nothingness. And then she turns to him and he's dead Pietro.
Dead Pietro. Yeah, no, that's right. She seems very unaware of how this all has happened.
Yeah,
but she also has the power to expand it.
Yeah, and she has she has control over people in some capacity.
Yeah,
but I think there is a larger force A, manipulating her, and B, that may also have control of the people.
Yeah, I think it's just perhaps it's such a huge task to control all of those people. The entity or whatever, the person that is controlling her needed her to do it.
Yeah. And possibly wants her kids, because why else for the children,
right?
And her having kids.
Yeah, I mean that has to be the only thing, is that he wants the kids. Or she.
I mean, if they're going by the comic book lore of the House of M,
yeah,
it is Mephisto who's trying to sort of incubate these children for himself.
Yep.
I don't know. And they might gender swap Mephisto and make it what's her name? Agatha.
Well, again, they have done characters that are like combinations before too. They'll I think Whiplash was a combination of a couple characters. I think Venkov and Whiplash were two different characters in the comics for Iron Man 2. So they're not adverse to doing that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this has been confirmed in a couple places, but
I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I'm pretty much expecting it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, if they're going to tie it in with the Multiverse of Madness,
a post-credit scene at least.
Yeah. I mean, probably. And to a little spoiler alert for you here, Roth, that yes, it's going to be long, so long that we're going to have it as 2 episodes. So there.
It's a double stuffed episode.
Then you don't have to record another week. There you go. Maximizing.
All for that.
Maximizing, which he says about their candy in the episode. He wants to maximize their candy.
Oh, he does say that, does he? Yeah. I
just felt like twisting it back into WandaVision.
There you go.
So I thought it was interesting when Pietro said, "Oh, you're going to have to watch your husband die twice now, huh?" And then she just blasts him.
She says, "Hey, don't sweat it." He says, "Hey, don't sweat it, sis. It's not like your dead husband could die twice."
Yeah. She did not like that.
Technically, he's correct.
Yeah.
Well, Vision can't die twice.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's very true.
So, and she just expands the bubble, and he's fine again when she expands the bubble. So,
along with a new circus and
and a funnel cake truck.
And
I think it said like funnel of love or something. Yeah.
1950s cars, or they at least look 1950s to me. So the eras are all over the place at this point, or the decades, are all over the place at this point. Because I'm guessing it took so much power to expand it that she can't control the decades.
Yeah, it seemed like desperation. A desperate move.
Totally.
To get her husband back in there and greatly expand it so he doesn't get out again.
Yeah.
We'll see if he even has... I'd be interested to see if he still has memories. Well, yeah, sort of. But he's fine now. I mean, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, you're talking about Infinity War.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, in Infinity War.
That's interesting. Do you think that's what Pietro's saying? Or Peter, or whatever he is?
Remember, they reversed time back, and then he died again, right?
Do you think that's what Peter is referencing to?
Possibly. Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think so.
I mean, that very, very well could be, for sure. I mean, I don't know. I thought he was just trying to jab at her.
Maybe that's why she blasted him, because she was like, he did die twice.
I mean, I just think he was trying to get a rise out of her, is all that he was trying to do.
He's kind of a jokester in the comics, though, too. It's not that out of character.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. It is a little not great line. It's not a great line to say.
I mean, I don't think he was referencing Infinity War. I think he was just trying to get a jab at her and tick her off or whatever.
I love how he was like, "Are you okay?" when she looked at him, for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, some of his delivery lines were great through this whole thing.
Evan Peters was fantastic in this episode, for sure.
Yeah, he was really good.
I hope we continue to see him.
Yeah, hopefully she didn't kill him.
Well, if he's the what's the other character that's going to be in the? Now the other character could be is what the who's the guy that they're thinking is going to be the big bad in Multiverse of Madness?
Nightmare.
Nightmare. So it's still a possibility to be Nightmare too.
I've seen that. I mean, they've been talking about this since for a while. The casting on that's supposed to be a woman, so that's why I feel like Agnes. At least that was a rumor. That's why I feel like Agnes may be a combination.
Oh.
Nightmare may transition into the multiverse.
Yeah.
Hey, if Catherine Hahn is actually Nightmare and she's going to be in keep her in the MCU forever.
I'd love to see her play a big villain.
Now that might be cool.
Role.
I would. That would be a juicy role for her to play. So I would love her to be in it more than just one limited series on Disney Plus.
This is all speculation, so don't get disappointed if
people watching. We don't know what we're talking about.
She is Doc Ock in the Spider-Verse movie.
The Spideyverse, yeah.
Doc Ock. October.
She's Doc. Well, it's something else though. It's a different name than Doc Ock, but yeah, I mean, yeah, October, yeah, exactly. So, did the director Hayward escape he didn't get sucked into the Hex expansion, did he?
No, he and a few Sword agents just escaped.
Okay.
And so did Wu and Darcy and Monica.
Yeah, but Darcy will be in the next episode.
I'm guessing the guy over the ridge escaped. Like he wasn't in the area for that, and they're still headed towards him.
Yeah.
So, not a lot of guys left. I think the beekeeper's just become like you saw with those other people. I think he's become a citizen of the town. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's not dead, but he's not in a good position. My question is: these guys living on the edges of the town, are they like starving to death? Because when I watched the Yo Magic commercial, that's what I started to think about because they had just previously talked about the people who were, not moving in the town.
Well, Herb ain't starving.
No, he's not. But he lives very close to Wanda.
Yeah,
he gets some meals.
Yeah, yeah. I'm interested to see if they like feed off her power. Are they able to eat? There's a lot of ethical questions. There are a lot of ethical questions that, even though Pietro says she's handled them all well, I don't think she has.
No, I don't think she has either. I mean, we haven't seen. Well, let's see. There was the poolside party. They were eating and drinking. They had I think they're probably eating. I mean,
those people, but I'm talking about the people on the outskirts that they say probably haven't moved in a while.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why that lady had a tear.
Yeah. And her husband was continuing to put down the pumpkin thing too.
Yeah. That was sad. I mean, some of that.
Yeah, it was
really
eerie.
Sad. Yeah.
That was
Avengers is going to get sued. That's right. So Do we think that director Hayward is anybody else other than director Hayward?
I think he's probably just a minor antagonist. Well, just
Yeah.
my speculation. Minor antagonist. He's Hayward, and maybe he's got a little bit of elements from someone in the comics, but he's just trying to get Vision to make weapons or something. You know.
Yeah. I think he's the big government bad.
Yeah.
But that's not not the main
cliche.
villain. Yeah. So he's wanting. I think he wants to. I think the reason they're there is because they want to get Vision, the tech, back out of there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so too.
That's why I thought that perhaps they were wanting to recreate Ultron in some way. But I mean, it could just be they're wanting the tech for weapons of some type.
I think they want to make weapons of
Yeah, I've seen what Jacob said here. I've seen that people said he's going to be like Stryker, which is why I brought up the Sentinels.
Gotcha.
Because I think the Stryker was the guy who made those.
Right.
And and they've done stuff like that where they've combined characters. Again, I just talked about that with Nightmare and Mephisto and all those other characters.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Invasion, I don't know that it'll tie into this story, but it's a show that's coming up, so maybe.
Wait, they announced a Secret Invasion show?
Yeah, during the Disney investor call thingy.
Oh, is that a show or is that a movie? I couldn't remember.
It was a show on Disney Plus starring, well, at least it was a thing on Disney Plus starring Mendelsohn and Nick Fury and Samuel Jackson. So,
for some reason,
Brett has a good point. Agnes may be an LMD.
Oh gosh. Don't bring LMDs into this, man. Those,
she's Agnes. She's A.G.
Yeah, exactly. Good grief. LMDs. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. jumped the shark with all of that stuff completely.
I never watched that show.
I love that, man. I love the LMD.
I didn't like the LMD stuff. I thought that was a little much.
Or the space prison year. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. If the MCU if we'll go into Mephisto, if they do introduce Mephisto, if the MCU ever wants to if they ever want to introduce Ghost Rider, they will have to introduce Mephisto at that point, I think.
Yeah.
Because he makes the deal with the devil of the MCU.
But they've already introduced him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they will wipe that out in a heartbeat to introduce him.
And the incredible performance by Nicolas Cage.
Yes, of course. Well, let's get him back for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
He just drive straight out of the...
Dude,
put your 3D glasses on now, and then Nick Cage comes out at you.
Yeah, they were supposed to have a Ghost Rider. It was announced at some point for Hulu. They were going to have a Ghost Rider show with that actor that played him in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I don't know.
Robbie Reyes.
I don't know that it was officially announced, but it was very heavily like it was going to happen.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Disney purchase happened, and then all that went out the window. But, yeah, so...
Michael, you seem kind of tired tonight. Have you just, come back from a big trip?
Yes, I'm pretty shot.
Hey, I've been up since 4 a.m. So
good gracious. Oh yeah, I bet you have actually.
Yeah.
But anyways, what else have we missed here? I'm all over the place.
I think we've hit most of the main points I wanted to hit. I can give a quick look over, but
what did your kids think about that Yo Magic commercial, Michael? That they watch it with you.
Yeah, Ashley.
It was pretty grim. I was like,
Ashley was trying to explain that was a commercial that was in the 90s with that type of claymation and stuff.
It's like Capri Sun commercial or something.
But no, this episode had some grim stuff in it.
Yes. And it was TV. It was TV 14, by the way.
Yeah.
Some people said that was actually Wiccan sitting on that island.
Interesting.
Who was trying to access his magic?
Oh gosh.
But he died.
But see, that didn't make any sense because he did access his magic about a scene later. So I was like, I don't know if I buy that.
It would make more sense if he opened the cup and drank it, the yogurt.
Yeah.
But. So that is one interesting point. You know how we referenced the fact that the kids are obviously aging quickly, but I mean, this apparently was the first time that Speed used his magic. So I mean, they're growing up and getting their
Tommy
magic.
and Billy.
Wiccan used his magic. Trolling us. Okay, I see what you're saying. With some of the stuff that they're throwing out there. Yeah, I mean, if it's not Mephisto, it's gonna have to be something really interesting. It could be Grim Reaper, but I don't know. Like
if Grim Reaper comes up, he's just a grunt man, I think.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. He's just a guy who will come out and brute force attack him and then get taken out pretty easily.
Which that could be Pietro. I mean, he could be Grim Reaper.
I don't think they're doing that, but I don't know. I just have my tunnel vision right now with my theory.
Yeah,
and it's hard to look past it sometimes.
So, if the theory is that those new people that are getting engulfed in the hex potentially become mutants, are we not getting that? Like Darcy going to become a mutant then?
I don't think everyone who goes in the hex is going to be a mutant.
Oh, okay.
I think
just
only
really
specific people.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that everybody in that area is going to turn into a mutant. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not sure about that theory. To me,
maybe the more times that you enter and exit the hex, like that's why Monica's getting affected the way that she is. But so maybe somebody.
But she was only in once, right?
She was in twice. She got in and out.
Yeah.
So she got thrown through the thing twice, and Darcy said her molecules were rewritten twice. So
yeah,
her DNA, her cells.
Yeah. So she's wanting to go in.
She went in and then she went back out. Okay.
She's wanting to go a third time, basically.
That's an interesting Wolverine.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He did cut through the wall with that chainsaw. Maybe that's his.
So the actress that plays Dottie tweeted out, something interesting that she's going to be making a return in this next episode, probably.
She said, "Where is Dottie?" Yeah,
where is Dottie? So we haven't seen Dottie in a few episodes.
We haven't seen her since episode 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it probably means that she's going to be in this episode in some way, shape, or form. And she was kind of like, she was kind of a mini antagonist in a way because Agnes didn't seem to like her much.
Yeah, she didn't. Maybe that means she's a good guy.
But then when she cut her hand, she looked really like scared at Wanda. Didn't she?
Yeah.
There was a moment. And then she kind of flipped back into that thing about, well, you know what they say.
Yeah.
Once Wanda touched her.
Yeah, Wanda touched her and put her back in her role. So I'm excited about Dottie coming back because I think that's only going to be that'll be interesting stuff. Because anytime we've seen Dottie thus far has been kind of interesting because she's a little bit different than all the other characters that we had seen.
Maybe she's the witness protection person.
Yeah, I was reading some stuff about that we will know the witness protection person.
I forgot about that one.
We're going to know a lot of things by the end of the show. I mean, they claim that they answer a lot of the questions. So
yeah, like
who Pietro is, I think I've heard that they'll answer that. What happened to Vision, they'll answer that.
Interesting. Well, I mean, we're going to turn around here and talking about episode 7 this coming Monday. I mean, we're going to get back on schedule and finish these last 3 on each Monday. And really, we only have a 1 week break after that. That was a cool thing that was announced this week is Marvel Assembled.
Yes,
is that what they're calling it? Yeah, Marvel Assembled, which is going to be like a making of episode in between each series. So you'll have.
Did they announce that for each series? I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have the WandaVision Marvel Assembled will be as soon as the finale occurs. The very next week they'll have that,
and then next week.
Falcon and then Falcon. So we'll get a 1 week break. And then Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Someone charted that out then, if that's true, because I didn't know if that was true. About all 3 shows getting that, we're going to have Marvel content every week
Yes.
for the rest of at least up to June.
Yes.
And then they have those other 2021 shows they haven't scheduled yet. And that people have pretty much like made a whole chart where they could fill the entire year with a week-to-week content for the rest of the
Star
year.
Wars. Sorry.
Well, I mean, we're not really getting any new Star Wars content that we know of until Bad Batch, which is spring. And we're not going to be talking about Bad Batch on this show. So, I mean, rest assured, we're skipping over Bad Batch. That's an anime.
Did you say rest assured or rest assured?
Ret assured, we're not going to be talking about Bad Batch on this show because that's a cartoon for children. So we won't be talking about that. So, but the main reason we're not going to be talking about that is because there's going to be so much Marvel content that we're going to have to keep going. And then Earl and I are excited.
I'm excited for this new Cara Dune show.
Ooh, too soon. You mean the one that she's doing with the Daily Wire? Too soon. So anyways, yeah, we'll be back, next Monday for sure, talking about episode 7, which is, I guess we can go ahead and say it, even though it hasn't been technically announced. I think they're doing a Modern Family-esque type thing. So, exactly. So, no, whoa. We've got Vision himself has joined the chat. Dr. Victor Doom as the aerospace engineer.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Vision.
I'd like to see it.
I mean, I would never doubt anything that Vision says. I mean, Vision
is still in he's in the computer.
He's in the computer. So I would not doubt
somewhere in Wakanda, but he's there.
I mean, Vision, personally, I think it's going to be Blue Marvel, but hey, Dr. Victor Doom.
And that would open up a lot of future things.
Yeah, I would love to see Victor Von Doom, and you can separate him from the Fantastic Four a little.
I would only accept Victor Von Doom if it was the guy from Nip Tuck coming back as Doom.
Was he in the 2015 movie?
He was in the 2015.
I didn't
know the really early one. Yeah,
I can't remember his name because he dropped off the face of the earth after those movies. Like, he still acts, I know, but that actor literally has not really done anything of consequence since he was in those Fantastic Four movies. It was like USA, Nip Tuck, huge success for him. He moves that into the chat is off the chains right now, off the rails.
Hey, Vision, thank you for stepping in. We welcome you. You were once part of the Avengers, but now you're dead.
No, he doesn't know what the Avengers are.
Oh,
this Vision right
dead.
here. This Vision doesn't know what the Avengers are. He has no idea. Remember? He told.
But he's here to help. Well, he's here to help.
If he's after the show Vision, maybe he does at this point. So.
Well, you're right. It could be a Vision that is after the show Vision. We don't know. We don't know what timeline in the multiverse that Vision is in. But I appreciate him dropping into the chat and letting us know that it's going to be Victor Von Doom. That's. I mean, what a better way to end the show than have Vision drop in and tell us that Victor Von Doom's going to be in the series.
Well, we can contact Paul Bettany and get him on the show.
That's true. That's true. I'm sure he'd jump right on. So check out the podcast though. The Deucecast movie show we release every Wednesday. I think this past Wednesday we released an Islands in the Streaming episode, our 8th one.
Today.
I don't know. Today. Yes. Oh yeah. Today's Wednesday. My gosh. Michael's
a little bit out of sorts.
If you go to Disney World, you lose track of everything, like what day it is. I was there for 6 days and I barely even know where I am right now, having just driven in from. But Rise of
Michael, how did you get to Disney? What's the best way?
I drove. No, the best way is to fly, but for some stupid
Disney,
reason, we drive every
your
time.
Friend who Disney on $1.
Plugging.
No, I already did. Look, I already did my contractually obligated plug on Facebook. I did that
You're
earlier.
not picking up what I'm.
All right, that's all you're getting out of me is the one plug. So go hit the slopes. And
I gotta go.
you go hit the slopes. I don't know. All right. See you guys
What are we
next
doing?
Monday
It's too late.
for more Deucecast Extra. It'll be hopefully a little more coherent than this particular episode was. Uncle G, thank you.
Yes.
I'm glad your dad's doing a little bit better. We're definitely thinking and praying for him because that looked more brutal than it probably ends up being. But I'm glad that he's doing well. And Clown Agent Earl, that's an appropriate title. So talk to you guys next week. Everybody have a good night.